Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm sure that from the title of this video, I need to stop like. I'm sure that from the title of this video you kind of already know what it's about, so I'm just going to be doing my makeup and discussing the big topic that is this video. I'm not really going to be discussing products I'm using unless it's something that I really need you guys to know about. But for the most part, I'm just doing my makeup and talking to you guys about everything. And yeah, also you're gonna have to ignore my nails. I have been biting them like crazy lately. Although that's not anything really new, I always bite them like crazy. So I guess I'll just start at the beginning. So at the time of this video, I just turned 24 weeks pregnant, which is absolutely insane to me. I don't know how that much time has gone by already. There's only like 16 weeks left until like my due date. And I say due date because I feel like due dates are so like, I mean, I'm sure plenty of people have actually had babies on their due dates, but it's just like, I don't expect anything out of my due date. I just am kind of, you know, that's the rough timeline. So anyway, my due date though is April 25th of this year, 2021. Happy New Year, by the way. Almost exactly a week after my birthday. So that would be kind of interesting if baby decided to come heckin' early, but we'll see. We are having a boy. We don't really have any names picked out yet. Well, like we have some names that we like, but we aren't settled on one yet. We're just kind of, you know, we're not like rushing picking a name by any means. We're just kind of, I don't know, we get name ideas and then we like sit on them, and that's kind of what we're doing right now. We're sitting on a few names. When I found out I was pregnant was August 21st. And basically, I had been talking to my friend Rebecca that whole week prior, kind of being like, I just feel kind of funny, and like, I think my period is late, and like, I'm having weird experiences, I don't know. Basically, we might get a little TMI here, okay, just, it is what it is. Basically, like, it kind of felt like for like a whole day or two, it felt like my nipples were being poked with hot toothpicks. That's the best way I can describe it. And I thought that I kind of like half felt like I was having like a weird like pre-period symptom that I had never had before. And then the other half of me was like, I've never had this happen before, like obviously, so that's a little odd. And I think at one point I felt like extremely tired, and like my period can like wipe me out, but not to the extent that I was feeling. Like it wasn't like the same kind of tiredness. So anyway, my friend said, well, why don't you just buy like a couple pregnancy tests and wait until, you know, your period is definitely like late by a few days and then take them. So I was like, okay. And I think my period had been a couple days late by that point, like 4 days or so, maybe even less than that because I was impatient. So I took a test at night, and I know it's better to take them in the morning, but I was like really impatient. And the pregnancy test came out positive, and basically my reaction in the time, it wasn't necessarily negative, I wouldn't say, but I was really freaked out because basically my whole idea and like goal in my head was to not start having kids until we got health insurance, which I think is not totally an unreasonable idea, but of course that didn't happen, and here I am, pregnant. So we weren't really like trying though for a baby because we didn't have health insurance, and I just always felt like it just makes the most sense, you know, to have health insurance to make sure that we can get like the most optimal healthcare and stuff for baby and while I'm pregnant and all of that stuff. So at the time of me finding out, I basically was Snapchatting it, and like I kind of wish that I had saved the Snapchats that I sent to my friend, because like that's the only documentation that I have of me actually finding out, but I didn't save them, and it was basically me freaking out, not really breathing very well, and being on the verge of tears, but also like excited, but also like terrified. And I was kind of like rambling to her over like Snapchat being like in a video format. I know it was cringy. Being like, oh my gosh, like we don't have health insurance, like this is just like really unexpected, and all of that stuff. So overall though, she was very, very supportive, and I'm so happy that she was there for me to talk to, because she was actually pregnant at the time. So she kind of had already like been going through it and like knew, I guess, what I needed to hear. And she told me to go to a pregnancy resource center in our city. So that's what I did. Well, hold on. So actually the next day though, I'm getting ahead of myself. So the next morning though, I did take another pregnancy test first thing in the morning, because that's when like it's the most accurate, and it tested positive again. So I was like, okay, like definitely pregnant. I hadn't told Joseph yet because I wasn't sure how I wanted to tell him. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do like a cutesy like buy a baby clothes thing and like a card and do it that way, but in the end I ended up just being too impatient. So I asked him if we could go for a walk when he got home from work that night, and so we did. And it was kind of funny because like the whole time on the walk he kept making like these weird, not weird, but just like jokes about like starting a family, because we kept seeing all these houses with like big vans that, like, you know, you just assume that there's a lot of kids, you know, when there's a big van. So he kind of kept making like these jokes about like needing to start our own like child army like stuff like that. In the back of my mind I was like, does he like know, like does he have a feeling about this? Like I had no idea. Like there's no way he could have known, but it was like really kind of funny. So we get back to the house, and like the whole time on the walk, of course, I'm really nervous to tell him. Mostly just because I don't like stressing people out, and I feel like that kind of news can be a little stressful. So I really was just overreacting. I was blowing things out of proportion in my own head as usual. And I was like, I don't remember exactly what I said, but I was saying something like, I was like, you know how you were making all those jokes about starting our baby army and things like that? And he was like, yeah. And I said, well, how do you feel about this? And I had taken a picture of the pregnancy test because I didn't want to like carry it around in my pocket. And I just showed him a picture, and he was like, he kind of like took a second and like paused and was like, wait, is this what I think it is? And I was like, yeah. And it ended up being really wholesome and very cute, and he picked me up and twirled me around and kissed me, and he was just really, really happy. And that's probably one of my absolute top favorite memories now. So it just goes to show that, you know, you shouldn't be overthinking things all the time. And so yeah, his response was everything I could have hoped for, and we're both still really excited, and he's so happy to be having a baby and all of that. And by the way, no, we weren't really hoping for like a boy or a girl. We were totally happy and excited either way, and I really mean it when I say that. I know everybody says that, but like we really could not care either way, just so long as the baby is healthy and all of that. Like we had absolutely zero preference. So yeah, we're having a boy, and it's great. So anyway, my friend told me to go to a pregnancy care resource center in my city, so that's exactly what I did. I made an appointment, and they gave me an official, like, really accurate pregnancy test, I guess. And as I suspected, I was indeed pregnant. And they gave me my first ultrasound, and I got to see, you know, the ultrasound and stuff like that, which was so neat, and it just really helped like solidify that like this is happening and this is a good thing. And yeah, I don't know, it really helped me like feel more, I guess, like at ease or something, or like more confident or more connected to my baby, I guess. The sucky part is that Joseph wasn't allowed into the ultrasound room, and that's happened for like a few different appointments where he's not allowed in. He's been allowed into all of the ultrasounds at our actual doctor's office, which is really nice, but they won't let him into the office for regular like consultations, if that makes sense. Like, it's always kind of up in the air whether or not he'll be allowed into the office, but so far for like my sonogram and 1 or 2 ultrasounds prior, he's been allowed in, which has been really nice with COVID, because I know that not everybody is allowed that luxury of having your spouse or significant other in the room with you, which really, really sucks. So some parts have been a little crappy because I just want to, mostly I want a second pair of ears there to remember information for me, with, you know, telling me information of like things I need to do or whatever. So, but anyway, so we found a doctor's office that works with people who don't have insurance. Like, they do kind of like a discounted plan, I guess. I don't really know how to explain it, but basically like there's a set price for like all of the appointments, unless of course there's anything additional that you need. There's a set price, and I am going to be delivering in a hospital with like the same doctor that's been seeing me this whole time is going to be delivering my baby, unless for some reason he's not available and then some other doctor in the hospital will deliver it. But it's the same general price for like everything, which is really nice to have everything kind of like laid out. Of course, if there's additional like hospital bills and things like that, I don't know how much hospitals are gonna want to tack on to that bill, but it's just kind of something that we're gonna have to grin and bear, I guess. I'm trying really not to worry about like the money aspect of it, because whatever happens, happens, and the best way for us like to have a healthy, happy baby is to let the doctors do what they need to do and things like that. So yeah, but hopefully they won't be charging us for a Band-Aid or something like that. That's like more of what I'm thinking. Actually though, as of more recently, we were able to get on health insurance, which we still haven't dabbled into yet, because our doctor's office of course does take insurance, and they take our insurance, which is good, but we haven't really dabbled into like actually figuring out like how that all works yet. Like we know how insurance works, but insurance is freaking complicated and like knowing if you're getting like good coverage or like something good is way more complex than it should be. So, but anyway, either way though, we're really, really happy to have insurance, and we just haven't had it because it just made more sense for us to just save our money in case anything drastic happened versus shell out like thousands of dollars each month. Like, that's how crazy expensive some insurance is, and especially for like the ones being offered through my husband's work, for some reason it was just like never good insurance up until this point. So hopefully, you know, it's actually good and like they don't try to like cheat us out of anything or like, you know, get more money out of us or something weird. I don't know. I'm real paranoid about this kind of stuff. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. I have my glucose test this coming, or like in like 2 days, I think. So that'll be interesting. I already had my sonogram done, which, you know, made sure that everything was looking good on the baby, like head to toe, everything like that. And from what it sounds like, he's looking great. They said that I'm very like textbook, which I took as a compliment, because basically everything was just looking like very normal and good. So I'm really happy about that. I'm not too concerned about having, well, I'm concerned about having it, but I don't think I have gestational diabetes, because I feel like I would have seen some signs by now if I had it, but I guess we'll see. Anyway, yeah, so I have my glucose test this coming in 2 days, I think. So that's where you drink like this sugary drink, and then you wait, and then I think they take your blood sugar, they test your blood sugar levels or something like that, and they see if you have gestational diabetes. So that'll be fun, I guess. Not trying to worry myself too much about it. It's just more like a boring appointment, because you have to like go in. They couldn't give me the drink in advance, so I have to just go in and drink it, and then I have to sit there for like an hour. So that's kind of boring, but it is what it is. One of my friends asked me to talk about my experience being pregnant during the pandemic. And frankly, like, it hasn't been too different, because my overall routine hasn't changed all that much from before the pandemic started. My experience hasn't been overall very negative, I wouldn't say. Like, it did stink that my husband couldn't come into my very first ultrasound with me, because that was really special. He had to like wait in the car, and that was just crummy. But he still like got to see pictures and all of that. Like, they printed pictures, and that was really special for him. And they really did try to make it, you know, inclusive, but like he just couldn't be there. And for some reason I wasn't allowed to like be on the phone or have a phone call either. So that was kind of weird. Like, it hasn't been that way at all at at the actual doctor's office, but I'm not putting blame on like any of the people that have to do this, because it's not their fault. They just have to go by the rules and all of that. So I'm not like angry at anybody for how they have to do things. It just sucks how they have to do things sometimes. But yeah, overall though, like, I've been fine. We've been fine. Nothing else has really changed, and overall I'd say that we've had a very easygoing experience so far with COVID going on and everything. So I'd say that we're very lucky in that aspect. And like, our doctors are very gracious with us with allowing him into the office to do ultrasounds with me and things like that. So yeah, I mean, so far so good. I'm really happy that it's not been bad. I gotta eat all the time now, so there's that. I do kind of want to touch on just like how I've been feeling personally. Like, well, not like personally, but well, I guess kind of. The first trimester was like really hard. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was super nauseous and exhausted. Like, I was so tired and so nauseous. So that's something that really sucked. Also, my doctor did say, like, at one of my first appointments that I have, well, so I've only been going to the doctor like once a month, so it hasn't been really that many appointments. But my doctor did say that I do have I have minor anemia, which I guess I'm not really too surprised by, because my body has never really liked iron supplements. Like, I tried taking iron supplements a while ago before I was pregnant, like years ago, and my body just like really rejected it. And I'm not very good at like eating iron rich foods, I guess. Like, it's just not something I typically buy or focus on. Which, I mean, could be better. But in my first trimester though, like, it was hard because I wanted to take a prenatal that had iron in it, but my body was like, no. And basically, even with like the gummy vitamins, which don't have iron in them, it was still making me nauseous quite often, so that was really crappy. And for the first like while, whenever I was trying to take like a regular prenatal with iron in them, I would just throw it back up like within an hour. So that was really frustrating, and I was really getting a little worried that I wasn't ever gonna be able to handle a prenatal with iron in it, because I was like, well, what the heck do I do? Like, my doctor said I'm kind of anemic and I need to take iron. So I started like, so after that appointment though, like I was already kind of into my second trimester, but I was still scared of taking the prenatals with iron because I was just like, I just don't want to throw up. Like, I'm sick of feeling sick. So he was like, well, you know, like once this, like, hopefully your nausea will die down soon, and then, you know, you can try to take a prenatal with iron. Like, I really encourage you to do that. I was like, that makes sense. But yeah, so the first trimester was really kind of crappy. Like, I felt nauseous quite often. And oh my gosh, like at one point though, like they don't tell you about this part. I don't know if this was just me, like I don't know if anybody else has experienced this, but this happened to me like once or twice, and it's really scary. So basically, I had waited too long. Like, I had been just kind of like lying in bed when I woke up, like not really doing anything, but I guess I had been getting hungry without really realizing it, but just, you know, being lazy about it. And I got extremely dizzy. Like, I felt like I had to throw up, and then I started feeling really dizzy, and then like my like hands and like feet went kind of numb, and it was really scary. Like, the first time it happened, I called Joseph and I was like, I think I might have to go to the hospital. And so he ran home, well, he drove home and checked on me and everything. And like, while he was driving home, like he was on the phone with me, and he was a sweet angel. But basically, like, while he was driving home, like I was like focusing on trying to eat something and drink something. And then when he got home, like most of my symptoms had kind of subsided. So it really was just like an extreme hunger thing that like, but it's weird because I didn't really feel hungry. It was just like my body was like, you need to eat, but it wasn't sending me the signals of like, you're hungry. Now though, I get hungry almost immediately when I wake up, and I've kind of always been a breakfast person. Like, I've always been pretty hungry when I wake up in the morning. So, but now it's like I have to eat within like a half hour of waking up because I start feeling incredibly hungry. So, anyway, as for cravings and things like that, I wouldn't say I've experienced like any cravings. I kind of just eat what sounds good, and I haven't really actually had any cravings, which maybe that will change. Like, maybe I'll like wake up one day and really want like, I don't know, something weird. So it's been pretty easy. When did I feel like I actually looked pregnant? Oops, I like totally got that way into my eyebrow. Ooh, that's a good question. I was trying to take like bump date pictures like in my pregnancy app, like once a week. By the way, the pregnancy app I'm using is Baby Center. And I like it so far. I feel like there maybe is better ones out there, but I didn't really want to like switch over because I'm already like used to it, and I feel like it gives me like a decent little bit of information. And there's like a forums area where you can like ask questions, and there's like a little birth club thing that you can do, so for like people who are also like having babies in your same birth month. So I think that's kind of neat. But it's all right, I think. Like, I think it's nothing too crazy. So let me see. Yeah, like I really didn't start showing, I wouldn't say, until about 19 or 20-ish weeks, because I have this one picture from 19 weeks, and I don't know if it'll focus, but so anyway, yeah, you can kind of tell that I have like a little bit of a belly there, but like before then I feel like I just kind of was like bloated a lot, and like I thought that it was a belly bump. Like I do think I had a bump, but it was like so tiny that like I never really felt like I was that pregnant. I think around 19, I think between like 18 and 20 weeks is when I like really had to like stop wearing jeans. And as of more recently, like I have not been able to wear jeans at all. Like I can't button my old jeans, not happening, no way, no how. It wouldn't work. It really wouldn't work. So yeah, around then I think is definitely when I started feeling like I was actually pregnant. Especially in like my first trimester, I was saying that the only like proof that I am pregnant is that I am nauseous all the time and that I have a positive pregnancy test, because you just don't look pregnant and you don't really like feel like you're pregnant. So on December 3rd is when I started feeling like the very first baby kicks, and it was like really minor at that point. And I was at about like 19, 18-ish weeks then. So that was like the first time I had actually felt the baby move at all. And then after that, it had been like a couple weeks, like a week or two, I think, before I felt more baby kicks. And now it's like really consistent. He's pretty dormant during the day, which is like less fun, because when I was like at home visiting family, everybody was like, can you feel him kicked yet? Can I feel him kick? And I was like, well, he's not really like, he's not moving. Like he's not doing anything. And it's always when I like lay down or like go to sleep. Like last night, he was kicking me so much. Like it was like going on for like a full hour before I was able to fall asleep at one point. And then like if I ever woke up and like had to get up or do anything, like go to the bathroom and then went back to sleep, he would start kicking me again. And I'm like, I just want to sleep. Overall though, it's really interesting. It's such a different feeling. Like when I first started feeling him kick, it was like teeny tiny little like bubbles almost. And now it's like you can actually tell like that's like, you know, a foot or a fist or something like moving around, you know. It's not a small feeling anymore. And I know it'll just get stronger as time goes on, but yeah, he's definitely a little mover in there at night for sure. So trying to already get accustomed to the idea that that will be a occurring thing when he is born, is that he might be an active little night guy, but we'll see. As far as like how I feel about being a mom, I do feel like I'm gonna be kind of a young mom. Like I'm 23, I'll be 24, I'll just turn 24 by the time he's here. And like I know there's plenty of people who've had babies younger. I guess I didn't really picture myself having a kid this young, but it's not really like bothering me. I'm not feeling like, oh, like the rest of my life is like gonna be like all about raising a kid or anything. I don't look at it like that. I look at it as an adventure, and you know, you're just sharing more of your experiences with another person that you are gonna love with all your heart. And it's the same thing. It's how I also looked at marriage. Like I'm just sharing special moments of my life with someone that I love so much. It's not like oh, like I'm settling down and like I'm never gonna do anything ever again. Am I a little terrified? Yes. I am absolutely 100% I think every mom has these, first-time moms probably have these fears of, you know, becoming a parent and motherhood and parenthood, and it's an exciting and nerve-wracking feeling all at the same time. Like of course I'm excited, and I more like that whole holding yourself to the highest standard of, you know, wanting to give like the absolute best life that you can to this tiny human. And also the idea of, there is that whole thing, the concept of that, you know, 100% of your time is also now going to be devoted to raising this little human who, you know, can't do anything for himself yet and all of that. But like, I think that's part of the beauty, I guess, also, is that you, like, yeah, it is going to be a sacrifice and all of that, but at the same time it's also like such a beautiful thing. So I try to look at it, you know, from that perspective more so, and I really try to like shift my mindset into more of like an excited type of feeling versus terrified, because it's obviously scary and it's gonna be pretty scary no matter who you are. And I'm sure that there's going to be situations down the road even where I was like, wow, I thought that was scary or like I thought that was bad or whatever. But it's just part of life, I guess. I'm absolutely terrified to give birth and go into labor and all of that. Like, that's a whole other ball game. Like, I'm really anxious about like figuring out where to go in the hospital and all of that. Like, I don't know how easy that is. Nobody talks about like where you go when you give birth, or like what part of the hospital you go to, because hospitals are huge. Like, how do I know like how to check? I don't know how to check myself in. So I'm nervous about that part, and like I'm also like anxious about like what if I give birth in the car on the way there. I mean, I guess if it happens, it happens, but I don't think I'd like to do that. Although it's not really up to me, is it? And I think like the idea of anybody, much less multiple people, like looking up there and seeing all your business can make anybody feel a little uncomfortable. So I'm a little I'm pre-traumatized from that, I think. But also everybody says that you're just gonna be used to it after a few minutes, and like, you know, everybody says like the last thing on your mind is like caring about that. Like, you mostly just want to care. You're gonna care more about like your baby being healthy and seeing your baby and making sure that everything's fine and dandy. So I'm hoping that's the case for me, and that I'm just not like overly focused / terrified on the actual idea of giving birth, and that I can just focus on giving birth, if that makes sense. Yeah, it is definitely a very intimidating thought to me, which to some extent I'm really trying to just look at it from the aspect of, well, you're gonna have to get through it, and there's not much you can do about it in the moment. So you're gonna be fine, and plenty of people go through this. You're gonna go through it. It's gonna be fine. Like, I just have to keep like going, like repeating those thoughts in my head every time I think about this a little too much, because it makes me a little nervous, okay? So if you have any tips for calming your nerves before going to the hospital, or if you have any tips for navigating a hospital, let me know. I have been reading, well, at one point that I was reading reviews on the hospital that I will be giving birth at, and everybody has been saying really positive things about delivering babies there, or having their children there, born there. Like, oh, why can't I talk today? So that's really encouraging. It's really nice to know that the majority of people who have given birth there have had a positive experience with the doctors and nurses. So that's quite encouraging in my opinion. I really like that. Kind of like skipping back to symptoms. I haven't really had any like bad symptoms, I wouldn't say. Sometimes I'll get like weird little pains kind of like on either side of my belly, like toward my pelvis. And I think that it's just kind of like growing pains because it doesn't happen every day, and it's not an all day thing, but it sometimes can feel just like a little uncomfortable, I guess. But it's not like, it's not that bad. It's nothing like crippling or causing me to not be able to move. I also have to like, really like push myself up with my arms or like roll over carefully now when I get up, because otherwise if I use my core too much, I'll get those pains, or it'll just kind of like hurt and feel uncomfortable. So we don't want that. So I'm trying to be careful about that now. Sometimes my husband will literally like push me up like as if I'm a roly-poly, which is really cute, but also makes me feel a little bit like, okay, I'm definitely bigger now. I feel like a pretty cute pregnant person though, I'm not gonna lie. Like I don't feel necessarily like ugly, or I wouldn't call myself like, I don't really like, I'm really trying to not have like self-depreciating thoughts during this whole thing. So I mean, yes, of course I do feel bigger, and I feel kind of large sometimes, although even though my belly isn't even fully at the extent that it probably will be, I try to not call myself like, I mean, I'll joke about it, but I try to not call myself like fat or, you know, anything like that, or be mean to myself about it, because I know that this is just my body doing what it needs to do. And that truly is like a really cool, amazing thing in my opinion, is just how our bodies can like adapt to literally grow a child, and it's just doing what it needs to do to provide for this little bun in my oven. So anyway, things that have helped me through pregnancy, first of all, my husband, he is such a lifesaver. I'm like past the point now where I can really like lift heavy things. Like I never was supposed to be lifting heavy things to begin with, but in the beginning of my pregnancy we had to move, so I kind of was doing it anyway. Probably not the best idea, and like when I told my the physician's assistant about that, she was like, so but I wasn't really lifting anything super heavy. It was like, I mean, maybe it was heavy, I don't know, but I did it anyway and I'm fine. So not saying you should do that, but yeah, I can't really like lift anything like actually difficult now though. Like I had an empty suitcase that I needed to put on like a top shelf, and like I started doing it, and I did it. I should have just asked him for help, but it was like actually like hurting to do that, so I should have stopped, and that was stupid of me. So if something hurts when you're pregnant, stop doing that thing. Probably the best advice that I have at this moment in time. And so yeah, my husband has been extremely helpful. Also, I highly recommend, if you find out that you are pregnant or are pregnant and want more like resources, try finding a pregnancy center in your area, because they are really helpful. We're currently taking baby classes, so like once every 2 weeks. It used to be once every 1 week, but now because of COVID it's every 2 weeks. We go to a baby class and we learn just different little things about like parenthood, and they did like a really basic, like it's not a CPR class or like official course by any means, it's just going over like some basic things that you can do, but it's not like a certification thing, so keep that in mind. I'm not like, I don't know, it's like I'm disclaiming something, I don't know. It's just, it's really nice, and it's very, it makes you feel kind of like you're a little bit more grounded and more on top of things when you can go to a class and you realize that there's other parents that are new parents, or even if you're a repeated parent, like there's a mom there that brings like 2 of her babies into class, and you know, because she just wants like a refresher on things, and that's totally okay too. So and the classes are free, at least for mine, so And also I know that there's classes that you can take at hospitals and other places, so I'm probably going to be looking into something like that soon too. There's also online classes and courses that you can do. I know I've heard good things about like the taking care of baby courses, so I might look into that for like an online thing, but we'll see. And yeah, just, I mean, but overall, like doing the classes and things like that has been really, I guess, encouraging. And then also like just having like people to talk to. Like three of my friends now that I talk to the most are all mothers, so it's actually really, really nice to have those people to talk to. But if you don't, like, try looking into like a birth club or a mom group or something like that. I highly recommend just having people to talk to for when you're feeling unsure and stuff like that, because it's not like I'm just going through like every single day being like, oh yeah, like I got this, like I know what I'm doing. Like I have no idea what I'm doing. Like we have nothing for baby right now. Like my husband is like, well, we have clothes and things, and I'm like, so we have clothes. Like when I'm being so sassy, I need a snap. So my dear sister-in-law, who she went absolutely nuts buying this crazy big basket of boy clothes and baby boy clothes, and there's some swaddles, and I think she gave us some diapers, and she also gave me like some random hospital things that she's like, you're gonna need these. And I'm like, okay, give me them. And she also gave me maternity clothes, so I'm so thankful for her. It was a really, really heartwarming thing that she did. But as far as like actually, like, we don't have a crib yet or anything like that. We don't have a car seat yet or a stroller, and like I know you obviously need to get a car seat before you can even take your baby out of the hospital. So, you know, we're gonna have to start making purchases here soon. But like we don't even have a couch yet. But that's okay, you know, one thing at a time. So we're working on it, and I'm trying to just not stress about it, and I know that we will with time. I'm just trying not to like worry myself too much about it, because I know that, you know, we'll obviously purchase what we need to purchase to take care of our baby, and I'm just trying to not like, I'm not trying to like rush and like binge purchase things that I don't actually need. And also we have registries, so I'm trying to like wait and see what people get us before I go out and like just buy everything for myself. So yeah, I guess that's it. I guess I can show you guys the baby bump, the baby bump now, because I know that's what you've all been dying to see. Yeah, I do post little things sometimes on my Instagram. I just did like a bump date post not too long ago, so if you wanted to know like how things are going, I'm pretty active on my Instagram. And yeah, okay, I'm wearing sweatpants, so come at me. Again, I am 24 weeks pregnant. Here he is. I feel like I don't look as like big on camera as I look in person, but maybe I'm just, I don't know. I feel like this shirt makes me look a little slimmer, like in a weird way, but I don't know how to explain it. So anyway, yep, here it is. Here's the belly. My belly button has like completely, like, it's like getting like flatter. It's really weird, but yeah. As far as like stretch marks and things like that go, I'm not really concerned about it. I know it's something that's probably gonna happen regardless, so like I'm not taking crazy preventative measures. I'm just using like moisturizer on my stomach and stuff when I remember, but truthfully, like I'm not very proactive about using like vitamin E oil and all of that stuff. So I mean, if I get stretch marks, I get stretch marks, and it'll just be a little reminder of, I guess, how awesome my body is and what it can do for me, and that it grew a human. Like, that's so cool. So yeah, I'm trying to just be very accepting of my body and what it's doing and how it's creating this little life and all of that. So yeah, not really too concerned about getting stretch marks. I mean, pretty much I think everybody gets them when they have children, like it's pretty inevitable, so I don't really think that there's any miracle product out there that really stops that from happening, but even if there was one, I don't know that I would go out of my way to get it, if that makes sense. So I guess that's it though. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this really long chatty video. And if you have any other questions, leave them in the comments. I'll be happy to respond there. And I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye.